Hello, you lovely listeners. I'm Amy. Welcome to the Really Good Conversations podcast, where we will delve into the minds of the business people we have met in the process of launching our first card game. We will be uncovering their secrets to success, their biggest mistakes, and sharing the key lessons they have picked up en route. So, if you're looking for an engaging chinwag mixed with business insights and a good pinch of fun, you're in the right place. Let's have a really good conversation. So, welcome, Caitlin and Joseph. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Hey, how you doing?
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So, you guys are the fabulous creative brains behind Collectable Cities, and you also have a fabulous creative studio, Fancy Lamps. I obviously stumbled across you guys in January at Top Draw, and I'd love to chat today a bit about your journey, both your creative backgrounds and how Collectable Cities came to life.
Yeah, sounds great.
So Joe and I are both creatives professionally. I do more sort of graphic design and branding. I'd worked in fashion industry a bit, and Joe...
And I just worked in kids animation and then broadcast and then more advertising later on.
And sort of over the years, we do kind of dabble in and out of freelancing and working in-house, but we ended up starting an agency ourselves and taking on more projects that we could work on together, or just more working directly with a range of clients. And I think over the years, we had always felt a drive to do a project of our own, something that would work well as a studio to sort of explain all of the expertise that we have. So it was combining sort of nice packaging and graphics and branding with Joe's amazing characters. And so originally we'd kind of worked on this as a kids app that would be more of a digital project, but it sort of evolved as we went.
Yeah.
And for those listening, what actually is the Collectable Cities? How do you describe what Collectable Cities are?
So the sort of concept originally was the idea of Collectable Cities is a sort of art toy or a collectible we started in London, of places where people come to visit, and they can basically take something away with them, which they will cherish on above their bookshelf or say on their desk.
So yeah, it's kind of like city icons and highlighting interesting stories from the places that you are in or would visit. So as Joe said, we started with London, but ideally we'll be able to expand and do all different cities and different eras, Yeah.
That's fantastic. And I think, we were having a good old chat before we started recording this podcast today. And I think, myself, we've been, touring around visiting places over this last year, since, COVID has lifted. And, in London, there's reality in some of the gift shops. It's often the same thing. Or you think, especially if you're buying a present or something for somebody, or you want them that momentum, you can't help think, well, what am I going to do with this afterwards? Is it just going to go in a drawer? Exactly. So it's like the characters that, you making, it is those pieces that I think you'd then be quite proud of, to have on display. And just beautiful aesthetics as well.
Yeah, we found on our travels, especially in Asia, just how unique some of these little figurines are, and we still just always have them on display in different rooms, and it really brightens up our day to kind of have a flashback to different memories of where we were when we bought that. And
yeah, in different places, especially in Japan, and they have different mascots for different areas, and they can be various ordinary, or they can just be crazy. So we just wanted to put that sort of fun side to it into our characters, but then something which London has to offer, and like the history of London as well,
with sort of a broad enough appeal that a lot of people from different places, different backgrounds would find something that they liked and wanted.
And you mentioned, Joseph, originally this sort of started as a bit of an idea of an app.
How many years ago was that? About 6, 8?
Longer, 8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah, so we originally we're just trying to combine both our sort of expertise
interests.
We originally thought about making a kids app about London, and then the kid would go to visit the different places and learn a little bit about the history and so on. But it took us quite a long time to design it, but then we were going to try and code it ourselves, and then realised how hard that was. And then if we was going to bring a developer on, and when it was, then the App Store was like a huge thing back then.
And I think too, with kids products, it's quite hard to actually make any profit there. You're not really advertising in the app.
Yeah.
A lot of concerns with this sort of thing. So you're wondering, am I going to invest years of my life, a lot of money, and not actually be able to turn it into any sort of profitable model?
Yeah. So that's probably sort of put that on hold for quite a while. And then with, say, different bits of my life, and just like just thought,
wanted to do more of a physical product, something that we could have a say over and not have a lot of involvement from other outside parties. And also just it kind of boiled down to, it's really nice to physically hold something. It's not a digital product, and we work a lot on digital, so we wanted maybe that switch to a physical item.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely agree with that, because again, when we were thinking of really good conversations and what this could look like, and originally it was through that COVID period of Alex wanted to do like a video interview with members of the family and stuff, and you were like, again, that's just going to rely on technology. It's another digital element.
More screen time.
Exactly, more screen time. And a couple of people have said to us, have you considered doing an app for really good conversations? I'm like, well, that just completely goes away from the thing that we're trying to create, which was that physical product to, particularly in your world, be visible. It's not locked in a phone. I mean, I know I'm guilty of the amount of photos I take because I love taking photos, but they're ultimately just stuck in the phone. I don't then do a whole lot with them.
Yeah. And then you're kind of disengaged from the actual experience too, which I'm very guilty of as well. But it's just, my automatic reactions to take my phone out and take a picture, but I should be more enjoying present in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's brilliant. So tell me a little bit about how you guys launched Collectable Cities.
So we ended up getting the prototypes in March last year.
Yeah, a little later.
Yeah. And then we thought we'd just go for it. So we ended up sort of getting to get into production.
Kind of funding it mostly ourselves.
But then we started to do the Kickstarter to get sort of a few blogs behind us and get people to see engaged interest. So we ended up doing that in September.
October in the end, yeah. Almost like some, a free advertising to kind of get the word out and hopefully reach some different markets than we would have otherwise, which was the case in the end. I believe our Kickstarter was like 50% funded by people from Kickstarter.
Fantastic.
But it was just a bit hard before we had our product ready to keep our social channels going. So it was another good reason to have something to talk about and gauge interest level, get feedback, and just see how that went. We were really glad we'd done that. And that wrapped up in November, and our products weren't in hand, all of them, until January. So we shipped out mostly December and January.
Wow, yes, a busy Christmas period. And obviously I reached out to you guys in about May, just over Instagram chat, because we just launched the Kickstarter for our business pack. And obviously I had seen that you guys had gone on that journey. So it was awesome that you just shared with me some of your experiences. But do you want to just share any, pros or cons experiences you found from the Kickstarter, and what you'd be recommending to anyone who might be considering doing that, going down that path?
I'd say plan your content around that. Like, say if you're doing for like a whole month to basically raise the money, I'd say have like every day or every other day to have something to get people interested in it. Also try and not be too salesy. We really found that before we did the Kickstarter and stuff, and then we were talking about our process of how we were going to make our toys and stuff, and we found TikTok very, very, at that period of time, very good. It seemed to push out a lot because a lot of people were interested. But then actually it's quite funny. Well, not funny, but like
did a 180 when we started the Kickstarter, because we got too salesy.
Yeah.
It wasn't as interesting for people anymore. So I think planning the content was super helpful. We tried to have at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks of content sort of lined up with a regular pattern to it that made us feel more confident to start the campaign.
The also other thing I found that before we started the campaign, we got all the sort of different, for us it was like toy blogs or people we might found interested in our product. We sort of blasted them all out to see if they could do a little piece on us, and we made it very, very easy for them as well. So we had all the content, like the imagery, pretty much the wording, everything for, say, press people,
like a media kit,
basically media kit for them to like blast out to. They can just copy and paste or change it a little bit. Which thank you for all the blogs to support us, and that was very nice for them. We didn't have to pay anything for that either. So
they wanted to see a success of it, so it's nice for them to spread the word.
And especially coming from, say, at least in our niche, the toys, there's not many UK people doing it because of the expense of it to actually make the toys. So it's either because of the Asian markets or the American, and also like Singapore.
We've definitely heard from a few people since, like, you guys are very brave to jump into that. And we just went, no, we were just stupid. Yeah. And also one thing we didn't realize about Kickstarter, and we were already in the campaign when this started happening, we were getting spammed a lot by groups that try to promote campaigns specifically to different Kickstarter communities, and there's certain fee structure, all this. We just were like, oh, we didn't even think about this. We didn't have money put aside for that type of marketing. I don't know if we would have hit way more audiences if we'd worked with a specialist marketing agency on those things, or if that's just sort of junk.
So a little bit, because we was like, and we ended up raising the goal we did in 4 days, which we found it amazing.
That's amazing.
Crazy. So we did have an idea of stretch goals and stuff. Because I would say definitely do stretch goals if you can, because it will give people incentives to sort of
get other people involved,
and so on. And using all the platforms to your advantage, really. LinkedIn, we found very good. Also Instagram, TikTok, and whatever, really. To just use them to your advantage.
You've been good at tweeting as well.
Yeah, well, that's only recently, really. That's tweet still.
What were you going to say, Amy? Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, yes, we also experienced that spam on Kickstarter that we were really surprised about as well. And, we'd get some backers. I remember one in particular, $80. And we were like, awesome. Somebody's, backed that amount. And then like the next day, that individual messages and, hey, we really like what you're doing. And then we'd have one or two messages, and then you're seeing that actually, yes, they're trying to sell you something, and we're like, oh no, we're fine, thank you very much. So, and then they removed that pledge.
Yeah, we had that. Yeah.
So we were surprised that isn't perhaps more protected by the platform, because what we were also thinking that for some people, and we got over our goal, but we weren't, miles over our goal. And we were saying that, for some people, if, they may have received, I don't know, a pledge of, £500 or £1,000 or something, that could be the difference of hitting your target. So we thought, for some people, and even ourselves, we thought we can't celebrate until we are fully past the deadline, in case in that last 12 hours, people start to remove their pledge. So again, that was an eye-opener for us, that we thought that's interesting, that perhaps the platform either can't protect you with that or doesn't protect that. And yes, the amount of these individual spammers. So that was really interesting as well.
We had the same as well on the final few hours. We had a few retracting offers and stuff, and it was like. Thought it's a bit strange and stuff, but again, it might be just bots or that's so interesting. Well, you obviously did amazing with the Kickstarter, so I think huge pat on the back, and I think it certainly is a learning experience when you do that. But also, it is awesome that for people looking to launch a product, there are these options out there. Because the reality is, when you're needing to fund everything yourself and just get something off the ground, the fact that there are these crowdfunding platforms, and obviously Kickstarter is just one of them, that's out there. So obviously your product was already at the end of last year, and you joined in the Top Draw Fun in January 2023. So how's 2023 been for you guys since January?
It's really just been our first year going with the product.
Yeah. So we didn't really launch the website till like February.
Yeah, mid-Feb. Yeah.
So we've just sort of been getting that tick along as well. And we've just recently, because we're still doing our design studio, plus trying to keep Collectable Cities going and thinking of new things.
So we decided packing orders was not the best way to spend our time anymore. We were having fun writing like individual personal notes to everybody, these sorts of things, and seeing where the toys are going. So exciting, but it just ends up taking half your day to pack the weekend orders, etc. So we've decided to outsource that, and that's the first step we've made to sort of start scaling the business, which is exciting. It also gives us the freedom to be able to leave the office for more than 2 days and know if someone's ordered something, we don't have to close the shop. They're still going to get their parcel, all those things. So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And I guess tell us a little bit more about how it could work, because I guess we're in that same world, we're packing the orders and things, and it's like, Alex particularly has a process and runs a tight ship, and he was away the other week, so I took on that role, and I was like triple checking everything, and the sticker.
Don't get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking, God, cannot mess this up. But I guess, so there is also that growth stage, also that relinquishing that trust. So how's that felt? So has it started, this fulfillment, or is it just about to start?
We literally went live this week, didn't we?
Yeah, so I think 1 or 2 parcels have already been delivered, and I hope they're in good shape. We haven't actually done a practice one ourselves, so we'll just pray we don't get any angry emails, I guess.
Yeah.
But that could be very exciting, because it'll open up a lot of time for us to plan what we're doing next, which is a question we get a lot on social. So
and it's one of my questions actually as well.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned it, what is on the horizon for you guys?
So recently we've just been pitching lots of different sort of licensing companies, like
to be able to use like famous people's names and likeness, etc., or do like brand collaborations. It should all be sort of officially licensed. So say for our first collection, we played it quite safe. Those figures are all historical. And there shouldn't be, we've not used anything really official that should get us in any trouble.
Yeah, because even like say obviously the beef eaters, we've done a beef eater and obviously in the Tower London, but we've made sure that certain bits, say like the crown,
it's generic.
It's generic. It's not the official crown, different bits and stuff like that.
You wouldn't think of this, that actually you can create because they are the designs and such are created individually by yourself, and you have created the product, manufactured it. So yes, that thought actually of these are either humans existing or past, that somehow someone has permission if you can do that. So
so say stuff like we designed like an Andy Warhol recently, which we thought would be really cool to do. We've tried to go down the licensing road that route, but I think Kid Robot, they have a contract. They have a contract already, so we're not allowed to touch at all.
Gosh,
but these agreements, are always for specific amounts of time. So, like, even if the doors close, you never know in the future. Like, we'll keep trying to make it possible to do the figures we want to do. And you get your foot in the door with one, it's going to elevate the brand awareness.
And recently we did get contacted by we'll wait and see how it goes from to do a collaboration, but then we've got down a certain route, and then the people who own other licensees don't want us to do
There's like a broadcaster that actually has the say over. It's quite a heritage British brand we were trying to do a new release collectible with, and it's at the moment sort of on hold, but hopefully things over time can be resolved. So.
And the big ones which I do at the moment, which we've been talking about on our social, when we got coming up shortly with Kosh, who basically did the Beatles, so all front covers, but we're looking to do the Beatles next if we can. So we're talking to the licensees and stuff. But again, we're still new to this, so we're just seeing if we can actually be possible and how much is the license to do it and so on. So we're looking for avenue. If that all fails, we'll go back to once again.
The safe route
where they're out of license or different parts. So.
And we may do that anyway. So.
At what point on this journey did you uncover the requirements of licensing and such like that? Did you know this before you launched, that these type of people you might want to create, you'd have to go down this road? Or is this something that's just kind of come up as you've been on the journey?
Bit of both?
Bit of both, yeah. Obviously, I know, like, if certain things I'd question anyway, like, say, like, annual or something like that, obviously, because it isn't such a massive, like, brand and a person. Yeah.
And when it comes down to yourself, you're investing in money. You don't want to end up in any legal trouble down the road. So, I mean, sometimes that does lead to good advertising. If it is in the news, it's published, it gets your name out there. But it's not really something we were interested in happening. When we're quite small, we want to go about things the right way.
Yeah, and I think obviously your experience working in advertising, creative, you're kind of aware of this anyway, I imagine, copyright and when you've been creating brands and such. But there probably is a lot of people out there who are starting a product from scratch without perhaps that background, and may come into these sorts of licensing challenges, midway through, or they might have already hit production on something and then realize, the fact that you kind of are aware or have an inkling and know to go and look at these things is obviously
and also just like trademarking your name as well. It's not a huge expense, and it's worth doing it in case you do build up a brand and then someone could literally trademark that name and then take it away from you to a point.
They've been on the journey, and we touched on this a little bit before we started recording, I don't want to call them failures, because you said before we often all share and talk about that, but has there been, I guess, big learnings and challenges that you didn't expect on this journey so far?
Things take a lot longer than you think they do.
Yeah, production was really tough to manage. Our production's done in Asia, and our company is awesome. Like we were selective with who we worked with, and we have built up a great rapport with them. But the whole timings of things did get crazy. And part of that was COVID. They were still suffering a lot with COVID lockdowns and issues with the government at that stage. And then on our end, the exchange rate was going insane. So that was adding a lot of stress back towards the end of last year.
We got really hit by the Liz Trust. Yeah, that's when we moved most of our money to dollars when it went, because we were worried about it to go even worse, and because they deal with dollars in China and so on, so we got massively screwed by that. It cost us a lot more than I was hoping it would. But it's just lots of different bits really, and also just wearing multiple hats.
You end up like we were just saying with distribution. When you do start that up yourself, you think, oh, how hard could it be? But I mean, we wanted to build a brand, obviously, for people that are interested in British culture from elsewhere. So we're sending all over. We distributed to 20 countries from our Kickstarter. I think it was 20. Nice. And some are very picky with the customs forms. And I didn't even include customs forms in half of them. So you're just like, once you kind of realize the mistakes you've been making, you're like, how did I get away with that? Or no wonder this has backfired. So you start to learn more about the whole journey for your customers and what you can do to make it smoother.
That's the other thing I say with Kickstarter, to add to it. If you end up having to ship a product, at least with internationals, make sure you do tracks. And you add that extra cost. And we didn't do that.
We didn't, So a few parcels went missing out of our original pre-orders. And then we'd already done the Kickstarter. But partly due to the Royal Mail strikes and parcels going missing, we decided to do sort of a free upgrade to a tracked service for everybody, just to save some headaches. But then you do see your profit margins getting smaller and smaller.
Yes. We remember that fun in December ourselves, that Royal Mail fun.
Just like the last thing you needed.
Oh, exactly. And then equally, internationally, some, and then you also well, did they receive it? And then is the person just saying they haven't received it? And I guess, it's all, keeping the customer happy. So it's,
we're finding a big problem with Europe at the moment as well, with where say someone's buying it from our site, they're paying all the taxes and stuff. But then when they get to, say, Europe, then they're having to pay twice as much for the import duties and stuff. And there's no way we've yet to find a way to get.
There's just not a good way for small businesses to be sending products to Europe anymore. I think you have to register for the IOSS, which we'll collect European taxes on your behalf, but it's just a huge hurdle for small business. So a lot of companies, I think, have just stopped sending between the two. We want to continue it, but we just have to make customers aware they will be charged extra, which isn't nice.
Yeah.
No, that is a good point. And as you said, when you're, creative minds, if you like, that embark on this journey to create an awesome, fun product, but then there's actually that's almost become the smallest part of it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And obviously, creative people are that visionary creative, and it's like when you're getting bogged down with all of this other admin and stuff, it's like, that can zap some of, I think, that creative fun at times.
Totally.
Well, I am actually going to jump in because I find your story fascinating. We obviously had a good chat before we even we started recording this podcast, and we could chat at length. But obviously, I do like to ask some of the really good conversation cards, and I thought I best jump into them, or I will be taking up the whole of your day. So I've pulled out from the yellow pack and the kids pack. And I actually have pulled out from the business pack, because I actually couldn't decide with you guys, because I was thinking, there's so many different interesting things. I'm going to start with the business one. And you may have actually already answered this in your recent development. But over the past few months, what has been some of the smallest changes that you guys have done in the business that you think have had the biggest results for you?
I think as we go, and we've heard this from a lot of small business owners, that persistence is key. So literally just staying on top of people until you get what you want. Like, be the squeaky wheel, confident, and just keep bugging people, because everyone's busy and you're easily forgotten, I think, especially if you're not in the same room and able to, really show people what you have to offer in person. It takes a lot of persistence to keep. So I think over time, we've started to finally see a little bit of results from that.
Yeah. And it takes time, doesn't it? And these people you connect with or email or have a conversation with, it could be months later, you then get that email through of, yes, I want to order. You sort of think, I kind of thought that person forgot about me, completely. Or it perhaps also reminds you to keep that communication going as well. So new collections you're perhaps doing, it's going back and saying, have we told those people we've launched this? Because you get so busy with everything. Okay, so here's a more creative one from the kids pack. What flavour of ice cream would you be, and why?
So we have so many different, between us. But my mine would be sorbet. It'd be like a raspberry one, I'd say.
That's a bit tart, Joe.
I know, yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah, we have opposite dessert tastes.
Yeah.
And why would you be a sorbet?
I don't know. Just
you like kids' candy flavors.
Yeah. Just sweet and happy and joyful.
Colourful.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love that. And what about you, Caitlin? What flavour would you
probably do like Italian pistachio gelato.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Nutty. That's why I'm a nut.
I think you have to be, don't you? You want to be in the creative world and then go on these sort of project adventures.
How about you, Amy? Can we ask you that?
Oh gosh, yes, you can ask me. Crikey. I do always forget that I should consider what my answer might be. What would
ice cream's an easy one.
It is. I do more from a general taste bud taste. I do enjoy salted caramel. So I'd say, that, I guess, with a bit of, that tasty with an extra, I don't want to say extra kick in it, but an extra bit of sparkle or taste.
Yeah.
An extra edge, yes. Alex is all about vanilla. Alex will.
Yeah, I do like a vanilla.
Classic.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Exactly.
And then actually I'm going to ask, this one. Because you guys actually have obviously worked together and are married as well, and work. What do you think is the secret to a long and happy relationship?
Trying to laugh.
Yeah,
You have to have a laugh.
Yeah. I think it's like balance, but our life is definitely
It's not balanced. No. I think like trying to still take time to do other things and not be like totally focused on work or bringing work home with you. We don't always succeed at this, but
no, not at all.
We've booked a holiday. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And how, and it's, whilst it's not a specific question, but I guess how do you guys find working together as a husband and wife team?
Well, I enjoy it.
Any insights you can share of what's the difference between the two of you in terms of how you might work together or complement each other, shall we say, or be different?
Kay's pretty much my project manager to a point.
Yeah, I think like I have a bit more of like the business mind, but then but Joe's got really good input on how to like go about different challenges. I just have to then kind of be the more logical planner about things. So I'm not particularly like that either. So maybe we need some help.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think we were talking about how being a freelancer, you feel it's a little bit more of a roller coaster than being in-house. You know, things change more frequently. When things are not good, they feel worse. When they're great, they feel better. And I think having a small business is even more dramatic. So I think the wins are so good. Like you just can really, and it's nice to then celebrate with your partner in work, out of work. But then, the lows can be lower because it has a more dramatic impact on your whole life. So I guess we're just on more of a roller coaster together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I think Alex and I are at the same theme park with you, so we're probably on there. We'll just be in the seat behind you guys on the same roller coaster. So
and then you throw a little one into that.
Yeah,
it's, sort of just trying to find
keep things fresh too, though.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you for answering those questions. And I always like to finish on as well for people, and you can obviously both answer this if you wish. If you could ask any person, dead or alive, a question, who would it be and what would you ask them?
We were struggling with this one, which means we're boring.
Yeah.
We were trying to decide who's like inspirational to us. And if we'd ask for like business advice, and we came up with a founder of Kid Robot. He's done some really interesting things, and it's sort of similar product line to us with the art toys. So he's sort of a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's on a few different businesses.
Kind of gets bored and on to the next thing.
But yeah, it'd just be good to hear his story and like how he started and what sort of he would typically give us sort of thing to sort of keep it progressing. So.
And then I listened to a lot of like true crime podcasts. So that was kind of the only other thing that came to mind. Adnan Syed, did he do it? I don't know.
Oh, brilliant. Well, they're both awesome answers. And it's fascinating. As you said, it is fascinating to hear people's stories, to understand, their journey, what they've learned along the way, the highs and the lows, and, because there is so much that goes in behind the scenes that people don't see. And I think, by having this chat, I've learned so much of your journey before we were chatting and obviously during this podcast. So I really just thank you for your time, for joining me today, and really look forward to seeing what you guys do next.
Yeah, thanks, Amy.
Yeah, it was really nice to connect with you and hear your story. Lots of parallels, so thanks for having us.
Definitely. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to check out the show notes for more information on today's guests, and if really good conversations are your thing, hit subscribe and join us next time for more business journeys, insights and banter.